The story of Tessica Brown, aka the Gorilla Glue Girl, has gone viral. Now, there are some hidden marketing and communication gems in this story. Keep watching as we unearth these gems. Hi, I'm Chrislyn Lashington from Lashington Agency, a marketing, communications, and entertainment agency based in Grenada. Before we dive into the lessons that you can apply to your business, let me first tell you about this viral Gorilla Glue Girl story. An American lady named Tessica Brown, after running out of her usual hairstyling gel, decided to pick up a bottle of Gorilla Glue and use it on her hair, which resulted in her hair being almost permanently stuck to her head. Now, while the hairstyle looked flawless for weeks, maybe weeks more than she intended, it proved very difficult to remove despite numerous efforts, including a trip to the emergency room. She claimed the Gorilla Glue, which is a product typically used on wood and tiles, did not state that it cannot be used on hair. It said it can't be used on skin and some other places they mentioned, but it did not say hair. She is now referred to as the Gorilla Glue Girl. Now, 4 things stand out to me from a marketing and communications perspective about this story. 1, be explicit. 2, always assume your potential customer does not know. 3, brand recognition is important. And 4, no publicity is bad publicity. Let's dive in. Number 1, be very explicit. Listen, you could never go wrong by giving your customer and potential customers too much information. Now, in this case, for instance, it might have been also stating on the product that this should not be used on hair, even though hair is attached to the skin. It's good to overstate, restate, overstate, restate, especially when it comes to directions and cautionary messages. I really applaud the company for their response. They restated how the product should be used and offered positive sentiments for Tessica Brown. And that's great. You want to be an empathetic company when situations like this arise. Number 2, always assume your potential customer does not know. Have you ever had a conversation with someone in person and they assume that you know their name or you know what they do for a living or what they're passionate about, and they're so oblivious to the fact that you don't, to the point where even if you ask them their names or what they do, they may actually feel embarrassed? Listen, as much as I've done television, radio, events, been involved in so many different companies, I never walk into a room assuming that someone knows me. There's always going to be that one person who has no clue, and that one person could just be a potential trusted friend or trusted colleague. I suggest the same attitude for your business. Never assume that someone knows your product, knows your brand, or your service. Just like in point 1, overstate and restate what you're doing. Let's take Cricks as an example. One may say, everyone in Grenada knows Cricks. Cricks is a household name. But the Walter family that has recently emigrated to Grenada from the USA may only know Ritz crackers and not actually Cricks crackers. You could have just lost a potential customer by neglecting to reach that audience. Before I tell you about brand recognition and there's no such thing as bad publicity, be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button so that you can see more of this type of content. You can also save this video so you can get back to it later. Number 3, brand recognition is important. Let's look at these 2 brands, Gorilla Glue and Gorilla Snot. One is an adhesive spray and the other one is a hairstyling gel. Now, I remember when I discovered Gorilla Glue, I was looking for some adhesive to use within the decor for one of my events, Beach Bum on Carnival Sunday. When I saw the gorilla on the packaging and the name, my mind quickly went over to the gorilla snot that was recommended to me months earlier from my hairstylist. I then began to question if this was the same company. They're both giving me something that can help stick together or stick something down, and they both have gorilla in the name. So that's one thing to consider. With these two companies, the Gorilla Glue, for instance, is owned by the Gorilla Glue Company, started in 1999 in the USA, and the Gorilla Snot, Moco de Gorilla, is actually owned by Naturo Laboratorios of Mexico. And guess what? There's actually another company by the name of Gorilla Snot, and they produce an adhesive, a grip for drumsticks and guitar picks. Very interesting. But what's interesting and what we can take away from this is that it's so important to do that market research when you're starting a new company, brand, product, service. When it comes to a name, research is important. You want to know what ideas are in people's minds when it comes to that name. Are there different brands that already exist that are very similar, even though they're in a different category? Those are things to think about when you're naming your brand. Customer confusion can sometimes happen. And finally, no publicity is bad publicity. Number 4. For some people, this may be the first time they're hearing about one or both of these brands, Gorilla Glue and Gorilla Snot. For some, it may also be the first time they're hearing about the actual use of the product, even though they may have seen it before. Now, there is an opportunity lying here. Both products are now being widely discussed, especially the Gorilla Glue. And because this incident was not a fatal incident, it doesn't take away from the brand trust. Especially in Gorilla Glue's situation, it actually reinforces the use of the product and what the product is known for, which is sticking to something really good. Gorilla Glue could not possibly pay for the publicity it's getting right now. It's reaching audiences it may not have reached before, and once they know they need to use it, they will head for that product. Now also, Gorilla Snot, the hairstyling gel, is getting some publicity as well. Not as much as Gorilla Glue, but it's also piggybacking on its hair. And in fact, they should take advantage of this viral wave and use it as a way to promote their products. Thank you for watching these 4 marketing and communication tips that you can gain from the Tessica Brown Gorilla Glue Girl story. Was there anything that you found that you can apply to your business? Drop a comment, let us know your thoughts. And of course, share this video with someone who can benefit from it. Be sure to visit www.lashington.agency. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at lashington.agency.